Two lawsuits have already been filed against McDonald's over its Quarter Pounder E. Coli outbreak. Ron Simon says he is representing 20 victims and expects more. He's sifting through hundreds of calls that are coming into his office ever since the outbreak. McDonald's says the E. coli can be traced back to the burger's raw onions from Taylor Farms. So far, one person died and at least 49 others have been made sick. Joining me now is Ron Simon himself. Ron, good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I know you shared with my team that you're going through roughly 500 calls just as of last night. Where do things stand now on how many clients you have?
So as of this morning, we had 23 of the victims in the outbreak.
Wow. I understand your clients were the very first to file suit right here in Chicago, too. You filed on behalf of them in Chicago, I believe. Can you share with us how serious their food poisoning was?
Sure. So the injuries in our client base range from having horrible abdomen pain and cramps and bloody diarrhea and going to the ER, being dismissed and going home, to one young lady we talked to last night in New Mexico who was in the hospital for 2 weeks.
Wow. The other thing I've been thinking, people get food poisoning every day and don't sue. What do you say to people who say the only reason your clients are going after them is because it's McDonald's? Like, you wouldn't be doing this if it were McDowell's. You know, what's your response to those folks?
Sure. So each one of our clients had a stool culture that was a DNA match to the outbreak strain linked to McDonald's. We're only taking confirmed cases.
What comes next in your fight?
So there will be a 30-day period where McDonald's has a chance to answer the lawsuits and start answering questions we have for them. This lawsuit is going to be intense. We're going to get down to the bottom of why this happened. We're going to see if we can stop it. We're going to see if we can make sure it doesn't happen again.
People got sick from eating McDonald's, and they're saying it's coming from the slivered onions. But they say those onions are coming from one of its suppliers, the Taylor Farms that I just mentioned right off the top. Are you naming both in your lawsuits or just the Golden Arches?
We will be naming Taylor Farms in all of the lawsuits. And something more important, this exact same scenario happened just 5 years ago when Taylor Farms was serving leafy greens and McDonald's sandwiches and caused hundreds of people to become sick. So it's kind of like deja vu all over again.
Do you expect a similar outcome?
I expect we won all of those cases.
Right.
I expect.
Yeah. Are you hearing anything from Taylor Farms, you know, as you continue kind of dig into this case, what happened to the onions and why that's the problem specifically?
Taylor Farms and his attorneys haven't yet divulged the source of the outbreak. I think you'll probably hear answers to those questions in the next week.
And lastly, sir, any advice that you'd give to people who love McDonald's, probably heading there for breakfast or lunch today? What's your legal advice?
So, you know, it's all about trust, right? So if you're a consumer in America and you go to McDonald's, you're placing an enormous amount of trust that McDonald's has done everything you can do to make your food safe. In this case, that trust is breached, and the consumer has to decide how long it'll take to get it back.
Well, we've been following this one closely. I saw that you had filed the suit yesterday, and I was hoping to have you on the show. Thank you for answering the call. Ron Simon, a pleasure.
Happy to help.
Thanks for watching.